Alright, so y'all seen the bass and stuff like that in my 97 Camaro, but we needed some more mids and highs, so I got a pair of Alpine Type R 5 1/4 mid drivers. I got these used, but they're in really good condition other than a little dusty. And then as for the highs, I went and got some Power Acoustic tweeters. Now I do know that these are not really the best choice for tweeters. Plus they're also really cheap. You can even see on the front of the packaging here just how cheap the plastic is for the housing. But so these probably wouldn't last very long in direct sunlight, so we will make sure wherever I end up mounting these things, sorry the camera's all over the place right now, but mount these in a better location. As for these mid drivers, I'm just going to say they have a bunch of places for connectors. I do have this little wire sticking out right here that I do need to trim off, but that's no big deal. But we have plenty of locations, so we'll just do a hot and a ground for this speaker, and then a hot and a ground right here for each one of our tweeters. There's only going to be 2 of these. So these are 5 1/4, and the Camaros are 6 1/2 in the front and in the rear. So we did have to get some of these spacers or adapters. So these do have an offset to them. So if I need to flip them this way and get a little bit more spacing behind them, I can do that. But hopefully we're going to be able to get away with just flush mounting, because I don't know how well that 1/2 inch or so would affect the door panel. So these I know work. These are new, but we are going to add some speaker wire to these to lengthen them a little bit. And these are actually fine wire. These are basically the same size wire that comes on the tweeters. It's just they have a little bit thicker insulation on them. So I'll just go ahead and pull one of these tweeters out, and you can see what we got going on here. So you can see right there, these are very fine speaker wire right here, which is kind of stupid, especially when it says 125 watts RMS each. You know, because you can't do nothing about that unless you want to take this whole thing apart and unsolder this wiring from inside there and then replace it. I'm not going to be putting an amp to any of this stuff, so I'm just going to be using the Kenwood Acceleron head unit to power all these speakers. So we're going to have this combo on the driver's side and passenger side up front, and then we will just be leaving the Sony coaxials in the back. We'll just leave those alone because we will have hopefully a decent setup back there, a high power 15 probably back there, or 12. So we don't really need too much back there as for mids and highs, so we'll just leave what we got because they work. But I did have a lot of issue with previously, and now there's no subs or anything in the car right now because like I said, we're going to be changing out to a better sounding setup. We'll be probably running around 4,000 watts on the next setup, so a dual battery setup and probably another alternator will probably be in the works, but that's off topic. So they give you a bunch of different ways to mount these speakers, these tweeters, so I'll show you those right quick just in case you're on the market for some inexpensive tweeters. Now if you go to your car audio shop, most of the times they'll have a very inexpensive set that's like probably around $15 or something, and you can run those straight off your head unit, or you can throw like a Walmart 4-channel amp on them and you'll get a lot more out of them. But I didn't want to run another amp and just complicate the system. I just want all my door speakers and everything just to be you know, my mids and highs. I want all that stuff running off my head unit for now, and then we'll upgrade the rest of the stuff later. So they give you this bracket right here, which is adjustable, different angles. It has a mounting place down there, and these speakers actually have this plate on the back of it that will twist off, and it's actually the same bracket right here, except for this one has the piece that comes down for the screw. But you just put it in and you twist it just a little bit and it locks into these. Obviously that'll be an issue with time if you get sunlight on this cheap ABS plastic. I'm assuming it's ABS. It looks like ABS. This stuff will get brittle and it will eventually break, so that will be an issue later on down the road. Now they do have one of these angle mounts. If you wanted to do that, it does lock in the same exact way, but it has 3 screw holes at a 45, so you can mount these speakers at a angle like that. I will not be using either one of these because I have plenty of real estate to mount these tweeters. I planned to actually just mount them with this piece in the back here. If I can just twist it off right quick, it's not that hard to remove. Like I said, it's not that hard to remove. I just was turning it the wrong way. But you can see this is the piece off the back. This has the little tabs in it as well to mount it, and this is for flat mounting. So the hole in the center is for your screw, which they do include quite a few screws here, so if you need some of those, they do include those, and sticky tape if you wanted to do the half-ass way of just putting some tape on the back of it and sticking it. We all know how that goes. But they do have another way of mounting these, and that is this nut. So this whole thing will unscrew, and you could literally just cut a hole for your speaker, slide it through, and then put this nut on the backside. Yes, that makes sense for the most part, except for I don't like it. Same issue why I don't like most of this stuff is it's ABS, and it's very, very thin plastic. You can see how thin that piece is, that nut there, and you can just about guarantee no matter where you mount this is most likely is going to be in direct sunlight. So this thing will eventually break. So I didn't want to rely on that nut right there to hold my speaker in, because that decides to crack, and then I'm sitting here cruising down the road and the speaker's sitting here rattling around. I'm going to have to pull my door panel back off just to take it off. I will not be happy about it. So I'm just going to flush mount this piece onto my door panel somewhere where it's flat, put 1 screw in it, and then I'm going to drill another hole in this slot, just right in the middle of that slot, and that way I can run my wiring through that hole, which the wiring will be this wiring. I'm going to add this onto this really, really fine stuff here with the butt connectors. We will be paying attention to polarity on these as well. Same for the mid drivers. We will make sure the polarity is the same on those. But now you understand we have a crap ton of ways to mount these things. I'll show you kind of an idea of how I'm going to do it. It's been raining a little bit. All right, so just gonna come sit in the car here, and maybe we get a little idea of where we want to mount this. Now, obviously, you don't want this pointing straight at you like up here. You know, I see a lot of people, they do that. They'll mount them straight up on the dash like that, or in your A-pillar. I don't like that idea. I want it coming from the sides a little bit, and that way you have a little bit better separation from left and right, because these are going to have that separation. You'll be able to hear your left and rights. So we need a good flat area. Bring the store in a little bit. So I've been thinking about right here, because this panel is super easy to remove, but I'm not too concerned about that because we will have to remove the door panels anyways because of our adapters and stuff that will have to be going under here. You can get an idea of how cheap. Pop this cover off and you can get an idea of how bad our door speakers are there. You see those are Walmart Specials, 6.5 coaxial, supposedly. I don't really see that being a tweeter because it doesn't do anything, but I could be wrong. But those are going out. They're probably going in the trash. So all we need is we're going to be running the adapter in here with our 5 1/4 Alpines Type R's, and then we'll have our wiring from this going behind the door panel and then going through. We'll probably have it go through somewhere through the door into the inside, instead of trying to come in around here in this area somewhere. We don't really want to clamp wires anywhere. We want this to come in, then come straight in the back, and we pull it through the hole, and that's when we can plug it into our Alpine as we put it in the hole. So I'm gonna have to figure out where to mount this. Like I said, it does need to be decently flat, and that looks to be pretty good, especially if I can mount it up like that so it's nowhere near that door handle. That will be aiming more directly towards our ears, but not, you know, right up against our eardrum, because these things are going to be loud even off just the power of the head unit. So we should be pretty good right there. Plus this is going to be pretty easy. I could almost do this without pulling the door panel, but I'm going to have to pull the door panel regardless to get to these craptacular speakers. So give you a little bit of an idea on this episode, and then in part 2 I'll be showing you the whole process, because we're already at 11 minutes in this video. So I'll show you in part 2 on mounting these speakers and the mid drivers in the door with the adapters, and how I'm going to wire all this stuff. We will not be changing the wiring. I don't think. We'll have to see what we find when we take that speaker out, but I'm going to shut my mouth in the video there. So thanks for watching, guys. Comments, you know, leave them down there. Let me know what you guys think about these speakers, if you have any experience with them. The Alpine 5 1/4 Type R's mid drivers. Let me know if you know anything about those as well. This is literally the first time I've ever fooled with mids and highs, so a little bit of a learning experience. So comment down below what you guys think, and thumbs up or thumbs down, whatever you think. But yeah, I'm gonna quit running off now, so thanks for watching.